Angel and company lost that game badly. So the question becomes, how often is she going to deflect blame after a tough loss onto racist comments?
Skip Bayless just dropped the hammer on Angel Reese, and honestly, it was about time someone said what we've all been thinking. After Reese's latest attempt to make herself the victim in a rivalry she created, Bayless called out the entire charade. He's pointing out how the WNBA is so scared of protecting their actual golden goose, Caitlin Clark, that they're letting players run wild with physical play and manufactured drama. The numbers don't lie. Clark's games are selling out arenas while Reese's team can't even fill half their seats. If you support Caitlin, comment CC Superstar down below. Let's go.
But here's the issue facing Angel Reese. After bad losses, she sometimes publicly plays the victim.
What exactly did Angel Reese claim that has Skip Bayless calling her out publicly? After the Chicago Sky got absolutely demolished by the Indiana Fever, 93-58 on May 17th, Reese came forward with serious allegations about racist fan behavior directed at her during the game. She painted a picture of hostile crowds and targeted harassment that supposedly followed her throughout the season. But when you start looking at the actual evidence, her story starts falling apart faster than the Sky's defense against Caitlin Clark.
First things first, let's hear what Angel Reese has to say. Let's hear Angel Reese. And if you guys pay attention, listen to her voice and listen to how she's on the edge of breaking down. Very funny.
Hate speech.
Yeah, obviously there's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA.
Let's also watch the nervous body language, the nervous twitching. Yeah.
Our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us in this.
How did it affect you Saturday, trying to do your job, trying to play, and having this going on simultaneously?
Yeah, obviously it's tough, but I think I have a great support system. I'm loved by so many people, and obviously in the moment it's hard to hear, but my support system is great.
Reese's original claims centered around facing racist harassment from Caitlin Clark fans, particularly during that blowout loss in Indianapolis. She described encountering hostile comments in the vicinity of the court, suggesting this was an ongoing pattern of abuse she faced as Clark's rival. The timing was interesting, though. These allegations surfaced right after one of the most embarrassing losses in Sky franchise history, a game where Clark posted a triple-double while Reese struggled to make any meaningful impact.
What do you think the league's response, just coming out right away and getting that investigation going?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, they understand that this is the priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech. And obviously, the women in this league, they know that, and know there's no space for that. And I believe that every player in this league deserves to be treated with respect and want to come to work and just have fun and have a great environment to work at. So I think they've done a great job putting that out, and we're obviously just going to respond if they need to.
Were you able to?
Damn, I really wish Angel Reese would talk and step up about all of her fans calling people all these nasty names. Oh, how being silent is such a blessing. Such a blessing it is to be silent and have nobody being critical of you.
Here's where things get messy for Reese's narrative. The WNBA launched a full investigation into her claims, and their findings tell a completely different story. Based on information from fans, teams, arena staff, and extensive video review, the league's official statement indicated they could not substantiate the reports of racist behavior that Reese described. That's not a minor detail. That's the league essentially saying her claims don't match reality.
Headline: WNBA unable to verify, quote, hateful fan comments, unquote, toward Angel Reese. Okay. Here's the league statement that was issued. We have investigated the report of racist fan behavior in the vicinity of the court during the May 17, 2025 Chicago Sky at Indiana Fever game. Based on information gathered to date, including from relevant fans, team, and arena staff, as well as audio and video review of the game, we have not substantiated it. The WNBA is committed to fostering a safe and inclusive environment for everyone and will continue to be vigilant in enforcing our fan code of conduct. Boom.
Skip Bayless picked apart Reese's story piece by piece, and his breakdown was surgical. He acknowledged that racist comments exist on social media, stating, "I don't doubt she has heard some in arenas and read a number of racist remarks on social media." But Bayless questioned the timing and motivation behind Reese's specific claims about that May 17th game. Why bring up these allegations right after getting blown out by 35 points? Why make these claims when the league's own investigation couldn't find evidence to support them?
I believe the league conducted an extremely thorough investigation of this alleged incident. The players in this league are 60+% black, and the WNBA is and should be extremely committed to protecting its players from racist comments made to players in the arena during games. But here's the issue facing Angel Reese. After bad losses, she sometimes publicly plays the victim.
Bayless also called out a troubling pattern he noticed with Reese. After tough losses, she would sometimes deflect blame by citing racist comments she encountered online. He advised against letting these remarks affect performance, saying, "You're not obligated to read them. Don't allow them to imprison you. You don't have to read them. You shouldn't read them. You shouldn't allow them in your psyches." The message was clear. Stop using social media harassment as an excuse for poor play.
Did a white fan actually yell something out of bounds at Angel after she and Caitlin got into it? She jumped up as she was in the right to and tried to go at Caitlin and was restrained by her teammates. I don't know if anything was said. I have no way. I just have to go by what the WNBA said, which was no evidence.
The evidence keeps mounting against Reese's version of events. Video footage from the game shows normal crowd reactions, not the hostile environment she described. Witness accounts from arena staff and fans don't support her claims of widespread racist behavior. The timeline doesn't add up either. If this harassment was so prevalent and obvious, why didn't anyone else notice it during the game? Why did it only become an issue after the Sky's humiliating defeat? This appears to be manufactured drama, pure and simple. Reese created a hoax to deflect attention from her team's terrible performance and her own struggles on the court. Instead of accepting that Clark and the Fever simply outplayed them in every aspect of the game, she chose to manufacture a racial controversy that never actually happened. The league investigated and found nothing because there was nothing to find.
Were racist remarks intended for Angel that night on social media? I'm sure some were. They're always going to be there. But should any of those kind of remarks be used as excuses or blame deflection after bad losses, especially to Caitlin Clark? Look, I'm obviously white. Maybe I just don't get it, but after a while, you say to yourself, come on, Angel, not every single time.
This pattern of behavior doesn't just hurt Reese. It damages the entire WNBA's credibility. When players cry wolf about serious issues like racism, it makes it harder for real victims to be believed. The league now has to deal with the fallout from one player's attempt to rewrite history and avoid accountability for getting thoroughly outplayed by their biggest rival. The WNBA won't protect their biggest moneymaker because they're scared of their own players. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. You have a sophomore who single-handedly transformed your entire league, bringing in viewers and revenue like never before, and you're too afraid to give her the protection she deserves on the court. This isn't just bad business. It's cowardly leadership that's sabotaging the league's own success story.
That game on Saturday was live on national TV on CBS. The New York Liberty are, of course, the defending champs of the WNBA. But the main reason that game did a massive TV rating wasn't Breanna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu. The main reason, obviously, is by far the biggest draw in the WNBA. The reason just about every Fever road game is moved to that city's NBA arena, that reason, that player is obviously Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she revolutionized it. Her games consistently draw massive audiences and frequently get moved to larger NBA arenas because regular WNBA venues can't handle the demand. The numbers don't lie. When Clark plays, arenas sell out. When she's not involved, you're looking at half-empty buildings and crickets on social media. The game between the New York Liberty and Indiana Fever pulled in television ratings that most WNBA games could only dream about. And everyone knows why. People tune in to watch Caitlin Clark.
The Indiana Fever, in the loudest, most intimidating arena in the league, got screwed 3 times, not 2, 3 times in the final 12 seconds of a very close game, and obviously got robbed at home, in that home. Fever coach Stephanie White, after the game, called the no call on Bonner egregious. It was. And the foul call on Lexi Hull disrespectful. It was more than disrespectful. Yet neither White nor Caitlin Clark addressed the no call on Caitlin's final shot attempt, probably because they've learned not to fan the flames of resentment against Caitlin Clark any more than they rage already.
But here's where the league shows its true colors. Instead of protecting their cash cow, they're terrified of what veteran players might think if Clark gets special treatment. Skip Bayless called this out perfectly, suggesting the league fears a player revolt against Clark. You can see it in how referees handle her games. They're getting the message to let players rough her up without consequences.
The Liberty at Fever game came down to 3 very late calls, all of which went against Caitlin's team, the home team, in the loudest and most intimidating arena. The Pacers got those calls, not the Fever. So help me out here. 12 seconds left. Caitlin Clark made a sensational bounce pass through heavy traffic in the lane. Just a wizard pass to Duana Bonner, who appeared to get tackled as she shot. Not block shot, just tackled, just rammed. No call. What?
Let's talk concrete examples. In the Fever's game against the New York Liberty, Bayless pointed to 3 critical late-game calls that went against Indiana, even though they were playing at home. Clark appeared to get fouled on a potential game-tying shot, but no call came. Lexi Hull got hit with a questionable foul call. These weren't borderline situations. These were obvious calls that any other star player would get. But Clark doesn't get that protection because the league is too scared to give it to her.
Then on the other end, Lexi Hull of the Fever did a very nice job of just staying right with Sabrina as she drove to her left, did not appear to make any significant contact at all with Sabrina, with body or hand. Foul on Lexi Hull with 2.2 seconds left. What? What foul? The Fever did have a challenge left. I immediately tweeted, "Challenge!" But the Fever, I didn't know at the moment, had no timeouts left to use that challenge. No challenge. And Sabrina, who had just missed 2 free throws, stepped to the line and made both of these. New York up 2. Way to go, Sabrina.
Bayless highlighted how excessive physicality gets inflicted on Clark without proper consequences from referees. Defenders can be overly aggressive toward her, and officials just let it slide. This isn't normal basketball officiating. This is sending a message that Clark doesn't deserve the same protection as other players. The league is literally telling referees not to protect their biggest star.
Now, 2.2 left. Inbounds to Caitlin Clark, who drove hard left on Natasha Cloud, who was all over Caitlin Clark as she went up into her shooting motion just before the buzzer. It sure appeared that Natasha Cloud body fouled Caitlin, rammed her, then hacked her across the wrist, then hit her arm as she attempted to get the shot up. No call. Loose ball. turnover, game over. What? No call?
You know what's driving this hands-off approach? Veteran players' resentment. Bayless called it petty jealousy from players who feel overshadowed by Clark's success. These veterans can't handle that a rookie came in and immediately became more popular than players who've been grinding in the league for years. Instead of recognizing that Clark's success lifts everyone up financially, they're bitter about the attention she receives.
You'd better believe that all of the established stars in this WNBA, as well as lots of veteran starters on every other team, constantly, quietly, privately complain to their coaches and to their team executives about Caitlin Clark getting way too much attention and way too much credit for the exploding TV ratings.
Even Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White has spoken up about this officiating problem. She accused referees of disrespecting the team, pointing to significant free throw discrepancies and the lack of favorable calls. When your own coach has to call out the refs publicly, you know there's a systematic issue with how the league treats its biggest draw.
The attitude I sense from so many other older WNBA players seems to be, what are we, chopped liver? It's not just her driving these ratings. What have we been doing all these years? Sorry, ladies, but compared to her drawing power, you are chopped liver. You're just going to have to accept that she and she alone is driving the ratings way above what all of you together were able to generate before she first set foot on a WNBA stage.
Bayless perfectly captured this situation when he said the WNBA is biting the hand that feeds it. The league is afraid of an open player revolt, a mutiny against Caitlin Clark, so they tell referees not to protect her. They'd rather appease jealous veterans than support the player who's making everyone else rich. The fear of how other players might react is preventing the league from fully capitalizing on Clark's popularity and the unprecedented revenue she generates. This cowardly approach is backfiring spectacularly. Fans aren't stupid. They can see what's happening. When you don't protect your stars, you lose credibility. When you cater to jealousy instead of rewarding excellence, you damage your product.
Now, Caitlin did have a rookie foil figure opposite her in Angel Reese. And man, Caitlin versus Angel in this year's opener set the all-time WNBA ratings record. But as cool and charismatic as Angel is, as dominant as she is on social media as opposed to Caitlin, the truth is that Angel can't begin to match Caitlin's basketball drawing power when Angel's forte is just rebounding.
Why does the Chicago Sky seem to target Clark more aggressively than any other team? The answer becomes obvious when you watch their games side by side with other matchups. The Sky don't just play physical basketball against Indiana, they play personal basketball. There's a clear difference between competitive intensity and what looks like deliberate targeting, and the Sky consistently cross that line when Caitlin Clark steps on the court.
Petty jealousy kicks in, takes over. Other teams are constantly complaining to the league office about all the publicity and all the credit that Caitlin Clark gets. Even though she doesn't do much on social media, doesn't say much when she's interviewed, just says all the right things, nothing but cliches and platitudes, nothing but respect for all of the older stars in the league. Caitlin's actually pretty boring unless she's playing basketball. Yet this league office is obviously deathly afraid of an open player revolt.
The pattern started early in Clark's rookie season and only got worse as the Sky's frustrations mounted. Every time these teams faced off, you could see Sky players going after Clark with a level of aggression they didn't show against other opponents. This wasn't normal defensive pressure or standard playoff intensity basketball. Players were consistently making contact that seemed designed more to send a message than to make a basketball play.
I see are the bees that are being dramatic about Caitlin Clark. That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
You can trace this behavior directly back to Angel Reese's attitude toward Clark. When your team's alleged star openly shows animosity toward an opponent, it sets the tone for how everyone else approaches that matchup. Reese's teammates picked up on her energy and started treating Clark like she was some kind of threat that needed to be neutralized rather than just another player to compete against. The Sky developed a culture where going after Clark became acceptable, even encouraged.
Now, what little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
Skip Bayless has been vocal about pointing out these obvious targeting attempts, and he's not wrong about what anyone watching can see. The Sky employ tactics against Clark that go beyond standard basketball competition. They're consistently more physical with her than with other star players, and they get away with it because officials refuse to make the calls that would protect her. Bayless has highlighted how this deliberate strategy aims to limit Clark's effectiveness and potentially intimidate her. Let's be real about what's driving this behavior. The Sky are frustrated with being completely overshadowed by Clark's popularity and success. Chicago thought they had their star in Angel Reese, but Clark came in and immediately became the face of women's basketball. Instead of raising their own game to compete, the Sky decided to try bringing Clark down to their level through excessive physicality and mind games.
Caitlin Clark controls games with magical wow passes and jump shot logo threes. I'm talking about the female Steph logo threes. And yeah, fans and viewers can't get enough of Caitlin and Angel pushing and shoving each other, really going at it in what has already become the ultimate WNBA rivalry. So come on, ladies. Quit complaining about Caitlin Clark and just accept and embrace that she is the reason all of you ultimately will make far, far more money.
This strategy has completely backfired on the Sky organization. Instead of making fans respect their toughness or competitive spirit, they've made themselves look petty and jealous. Fans aren't impressed when you have to resort to dirty tactics because you can't match someone's skill level. The Sky's approach has only made Clark more sympathetic and popular while painting themselves as the clear villains in this rivalry. The contrast couldn't be more obvious. Clark shows up and plays basketball at an elite level while dealing with constant physical punishment. The Sky show up looking like they're more interested in starting fights than winning games. Clark handles the pressure with grace and professionalism. The Sky create drama and excuses when things don't go their way.
So the refs are given the message. They're clearly afraid to protect Caitlin Clark from the bully tactics and the excessive physicality inflicted on her. Heck, I don't know, maybe veteran refs are resentful of all the attention that Caitlin Clark gets. I don't know. That's the way it looked on Saturday. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you, or letting defenders bite that hand.
You know what makes this even more ridiculous? The Sky's targeting strategy hasn't worked. Clark still dominates their matchups. She still puts up incredible numbers. She still draws massive crowds that dwarf anything the Sky can generate on their own. All their dirty tactics have accomplished is making them look small and bitter while Clark's star continues to rise. This sets up an epic rivalry for 2025 with the clearest possible heroes and villains. On one side, you have Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, talented, professional, and focused on playing the right way. On the other side, you have the Chicago Sky, jealous, physical, and desperate for attention they haven't earned through their play.
Who cares what color they are, as long as they're watching and buying tickets? Is it because she flashes a little attitude during games, a little arrogance, occasionally gets a little heated? What superstar doesn't? I mean, she was first team all WNBA as a rookie, and I won't be surprised if she wins MVP this season.
Angel Reese's manufactured drama has only made Caitlin Clark's star shine brighter. While Reese was busy creating fake controversies and playing victim, Clark was setting all-time WNBA ratings records and bringing unprecedented revenue to the league. Skip Bayless pointed out how Clark's games consistently break viewership numbers while other matchups struggle to fill seats. You want to support genuine talent over attention-seeking behavior. Clark earned her success through skill and professionalism. Reese earned her reputation through manufactured drama and dirty tactics. The 2025 season is going to be incredible when Clark comes back even stronger and more motivated than before. If you support Caitlyn, comment CC Superstar down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.